What was to follow or to continue, to carry on?
Seguir.
Seguir. And how was I continue or I carry on or I follow?
Sigo.
Sigo. Good. If you want to say I continue speaking, here we use the ing. I continue speaking. So how would that be?
Sigo hablando.
Sigo hablando. He continues speaking.
Sigue hablando.
Sigue hablando. He continues speaking. She continues speaking. You formal continue speaking. It's probable that he continues speaking. So in English we will probably say he'll probably continue speaking. But in Spanish it is probable that he continues speaking. So how would that be?
Es probable que siga hablando.
Very good. Es probable que siga hablando. Good. It's probable that he continues speaking. So after seguir, to get the meaning of continue, we can use the ing. What was to be for characteristics?
Ser.
Ser. Good. How would you make the ing form of ser?
Siendo.
Siendo. Free, in the sense of not requiring any money, is gratis in Spanish.
Gratis.
This is where we get gratuitous from in English. It's a bit gratuitous. It's unnecessary. It's free. It's extra. Gratis. So you can say it's imperative that it continues to be free. So it's imperative that it continues being free. How would you say that?
Es imperativo que siga siendo gratis.
Good. Es imperativo que siga siendo gratis. To start, we said that we had comenzar and empezar. Comenzar is, of course, easier to remember and use because it sounds like commence, but empezar is probably more common. So you can use whichever you like now. How would you say it's spectacular that they start to speak Spanish? Now, after start, to connect to the next to form, you need a. There are just a handful of verbs that are not verbs of movement, for example, like ir, volver, salir, that need a to connect. Apart from these, there are just a handful of verbs that use some preposition to connect. And empezar and comenzar are two of them. So, how would you say it's spectacular that they begin to speak Spanish? Spectacular is the same word in Spanish.
Es espectacular.
Almost the same word.
Oh, right. Espectacular.
Good. Es espectacular that they begin.
Que comiencen a hablar español.
Good. Es espectacular que comiencen a hablar español. It's spectacular that they start to speak Spanish. Now, after comenzar and empezar, you could also put the ing form, and the meaning would change a little. It would mean it's spectacular that they start out speaking Spanish. Now, in English, there's not a lot of difference that they begin to speak Spanish, that they begin speaking Spanish. Both in English mean to start speaking Spanish. But in Spanish, if you use the ing here, it would mean that they start out speaking Spanish, like right from the beginning. So, when I'm speaking about these courses, for example, I say that we start out speaking Spanish right from the beginning. Now, speaking about that in Spanish, I would use the ing here. So, it's spectacular that they start out speaking Spanish.
Es espectacular que comiencen hablando español.
Good. And here we don't need the a because we're not connecting to a to form. What was the verb to finish or to terminate?
Terminar.
Terminar. Now, if you want to say a sentence like, I want you guys to speak with me when you finish selling them, we will say when you finish to sell them. Here we won't use the ing. But to finish, terminar, is also one of those verbs that needs a preposition to connect to the next to form. In this case, the preposition is de. So to finish selling them is terminar de vender. So, I want you guys to speak with me when you finish selling them. So the first bit is, I want you guys to speak with me. How is that bit?
Quiero que hablen conmigo.
Good. Mood tense. Quiero que hablen conmigo. Good. I want that you talk with me. Quiero que hablen conmigo when you finish selling them. So when you finish and we're still speaking to you guys.
Cuando terminen.
Good. Why did you use the mood tense there? Cuando terminen.
Because it's the future when.
Good. When cuando refers to generally, we won't use the mood tense, we just use the present. And here, referring to a future event that hasn't happened, after cuando, we use the mood tense. Well remembered. Quiero que hablen conmigo cuando terminen, when you finish selling them. And we're not going to use selling, we're going to use to sell, and we connect that with de.
Cuando terminen de venderlos.
Good.
Venderlos.
Good. So, all together, I want you guys to speak with me when you finish selling them.
Quiero que hablen conmigo cuando terminen de venderlos.
Good. Quiero que hablen conmigo cuando terminen de venderlos. So this means I want you guys to speak with me when you finish selling them. But terminar we can also use like end up. I want you guys to speak with me when you end up selling them. So using the ing form after terminar instead of de and the to form gives us this meaning of end up. So, if you wanted to say, I want you guys to speak with me when you end up selling them. So, I want you guys to speak with me
Quiero que hablen conmigo
when you end up selling them. So, we will say when you finish, and then we will actually use the ing.
cuando terminen vendiéndolos.
Good. Quiero que hablen conmigo cuando terminen vendiéndolos. I want you guys to speak with me when you end up selling them. So, there is a difference here, depending on whether we use the to form or the ing form. Just as we saw with empezar or comenzar, there can be a difference between using the to form afterwards or the ing form afterwards. And both of them need a preposition to join the to form, which might be a clue to you that there is a difference between using the to form and then the ing form. If the to form is joining with a preposition, then maybe this particular verb takes the ing form afterwards as well with a slightly different meaning. Empezar a hablar, to start to speak, to start speaking. Empezar hablando, to actually begin something speaking, or as we would probably say, to start out speaking. Terminar de vender, to finish selling. Terminar vendiendo, to end up selling. So what we have aimed to teach here is the idea of the mood tense, the general feeling of the mood tense, and the kind of constructions in which it occurs. And like I said, understanding the mood tense is about listening out for it, and listening out for how people around you use it. A great way to learn it is to chat online, for example, because maybe in real life, and almost certainly at the beginning, you won't pick up those subtle changes in vowels that you get with the mood tense. But if you're chatting online, you will notice quite clearly, there they used an A and not an E, or there they used an E and not an A. Oh, why? And then you will look at the context of the sentence and work out why the mood tense was used, and that really is the best way to internalize it.